righty. Well, good morning. I am Rita Revels. I am the president and CEO of the Employers Network. And we do have a guest with us. We have Diane with us from HR Strategic Partners out of Columbus, Georgia.
Good morning.
The survey this year is a partnership. So it's a partnership between 3 employers associations. Mine in South Carolina, Diane's in Georgia, and we will have coming on board with us an employer association out of North Carolina. So you might ask, why the change? We are expanding our survey regions, so we have more of a regional survey with regional data, but that does not mean that your region data is going away. So I'll use the upstate of South Carolina, for example. My organization's conducted this compensation survey for over 25 years, and we have an established region of the upstate that we have always reported our data on. It will continue to be that way. The PDF file that you will receive for participating will have your regional data in it. Same thing for the participants that are in Georgia. It will have their regional data in it. I'm going to talk a little later about a subscription to the platform. If you subscribe to the platform, you will have access to all of the data. So the data from North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia will be available there for you to pull it in and do some analysis in many different formats, not just looking at average, weighted averages and percentiles. You will have many other ways that you can analyze that data. So we did make a change here at the Employers Network in 2020. We moved from a Word document to an Excel spreadsheet. I have good news. If you participated last year, those job descriptions, job titles, and job numbers are the same in the system this year. And if you've participated previously in Georgia, the same holds true for you. Your job numbers, job descriptions, all have the same information. So you're not going to have to do any mapping to an old survey. Diane, would you like to add anything before I jump into the platform?
Well, just to, I guess, further articulate what you were just talking about there, Rita. For everyone, first of all, welcome to anyone from Georgia that's joining new. If you've joined in the past, we're glad you're back. And as Rita said, nothing really has changed. And if you have participated in the survey in the past, your data will be there. So you may just need to do a little tweaking of some of your jobs. You may add some more jobs. You may add some more employees, make some changes there. But it surely should be much easier than, just starting from the beginning. And those of you that are new, welcome. We're so glad to have you. And I think when you leave the course in the class today with what Rita's about to share, you're going to feel very comfortable working in the platform, and it's just it's phenomenal and very comprehensive, and will offer you all sorts of opportunities beyond just the survey that you'll receive at the end of the survey, right? The report that you'll get, and then I guess the other thing I wanted to mention is, and Rita, you'll probably cover this, and that's just about usernames and passwords and some of the issues that I have had with that. But I just want to make sure we touch on it. But yeah, just welcome to everyone. Mm-hmm.
Make sure we cover that. As we go through the training, I am going to be taking notes. We are documenting the questions from each session and trying to incorporate those into the future sessions. And then I have a couple of things to show you today too, where some of the participants have received error messages, and I want to walk through that because what they're seeing is probably some of the most common error messages. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be bouncing around between some screens. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the platform up. So when you click on that link that we sent you, this is what the platform looks like. And if at any point you can't see my screen, if somebody will let me know, sometimes this sharing doesn't work as smoothly as I would like for it to. So this is what the portal will look like when you log on. Now, let me point out, if you look up into the bar at the top where the URL is, this one is a little different than the one that you're going to see. That's because I'm working now in a test environment. So we have a platform that's a test environment that we work in to test things or to add new things and see what their functionality will look like. Also, if you've participated in any of the Mercer surveys, you're going to find that this one, while not as lengthy and not identical, the matching and the job uploads is very, very similar to what you would have done in a Mercer survey. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. So my username for this particular training make sure I get my password right here. And each time you log in, you're going to have to click on the agree button, and you're agreeing to the terms of service and the privacy statements here, much like you do in many other websites. Those are available for you to review and to download if you would like through these links. I hope I typed that password in right. So once you log in, this is the first screen that you're going to see. And there are some things that you're going to want to do on your very first login. Now, one of the first questions we got is, do I have to finish this in one sitting? So do I have to sit down and finish the complete survey? The answer to that question is no. You can work on as much or as little as you want, as long as you are hitting save. You can do one or two things, come out of the system and go back in. But we do ask on your first login that you do two things. The first one is click on your company profile, and you're going to want to make sure that we have entered all of this data correctly. We realize that some surveys are being completed out of shared services departments and corporate offices. What we're looking for here is the address of the facility itself. And that's important because that determines what region or what area's data this gets put into. So double check that we have your company name exactly as you want it in the survey. Check to make sure that the street address is correct for the organization, that the city is correct, and then that the state is correct. So I want to talk here a minute about state and county, because that's two of the most important pieces of data. So we're just going to say that this is wrong, that this is in Georgia. Did you notice that the counties did not change yet? So we're still seeing South Carolina counties, even though I've changed it to Georgia. You have to click save, and the program reaches out and pulls in the counties in Georgia. So I'm going to go ahead and change this back to Spartanburg. I'm going to click save after I change it to South Carolina. And then I'm going to find Spartanburg County in the drop down, and I'm going to click save again. The next thing we need you to look at is, did we get your industry correct? You can change this. You're in complete control of how you want your organization classified. So you can click on hospitality, not-for-profit, retail, but we asked you to check that. Then check to see if are we for-profit or not-for-profit or public. And then we need you to enter your total number of employees at this facility in this box. Right now, I'm seeing that this is the most missed part of the data in the survey for those who have already completed it. And we have numerous companies who have already completed their surveys, but this is the most missed piece of data right now. We will do some stuff on the backside to make it a required field later, but right now that's the one that's being missed the most. So once you're done here, again, just click save. And then there's many different ways that you can navigate the system. We can go back to the welcome page here. We can go to the welcome page in the top right-hand corner that says welcome. We can click on manage users, which is the next step that I'm going to ask you to do, or we can click next step. So there's lots of different ways to get to the next part. I'm going to go back to the welcome page. I just always like to go back to it and navigate from there, but that's your choice. Next, you're going to manage your users. So these are all of the authorized users for R&R Metalworks. And there are currently 5 users for this company. This tells you what kind of access they have. all of them will have yes for a member because you have to be a member to be in this company. And then do they have access to enter the data? And are they a member admin? A member admin has the rights to add, delete, and modify others' access. So I am in the training test, and I am a member admin for this particular company. So let's say that Tina Smith, right now I have Tina, she has member access and data access, but she's not an admin. Well, I want to make her an admin. So I'm just going to click on edit, and it's as simple as clicking the box and save the changes. So next, let's say that there's an admin that has left the company. Let's say Tina Smith leaves the company. Then I can go in, and it is simple as delete. Now, I want to give a warning here. It doesn't ask you if you're sure. So when you delete them, they're gone. But adding someone in is very easy. We're going to put a name in here. So I'm going to add Tina Smith back. Tina left our company and then came back. And now I can fill this in. I can assign her a password, or it defaults to password. I'll put in her contact name, her phone number, her email address. I'm just going to do this so you can see how it behaves here. And sorry, that keeps coming up. We have encrypted passwords here, so that's coming up for passwords. And I'm going to make her member admin. Now, there's two things I can do next. I can click Save Changes, and I can let Tina know what her login is, or I can click Send an Email, and it will send her an email. Now, we are finding that these emails are going to spam. So we would ask that you whitelist our email address, which is surveys@southeastcomp.com. If you'll whitelist that, then the emails from this site will come into your inbox. But this has been sent to, and I put the email just came in. I got it on my watch. That sent an email to Tina. The next thing that you need to do is, I'm the administrator. This is the, well, let's say Tina Roberts is the company administrator. And this is Tina's first time logging in. We're going to ask you to do this, and this is very important. We're going to ask that you go in and change that password to whatever you want it to be. There's a 10 character limit, but we're going to ask in your very first login that you change your password. There's a couple reasons for that. We assigned you passwords. I tried to do random generation of passwords, but this is your comp data, and we want it to be protected. So log in, change that password. If you were to ever forget your password or can't get logged in, give me a call or send me an email. I can go in and reset that for you. And I put my direct contact information into the chat. And Diana, I'd ask if you will put yours into the chat so they'll have yours if they need to contact you.
Absolutely.
But in your first session, those are really the only two things that we ask you do. And you can come in and out of this and work on it as you like. Again, I always like to go back to the welcome page just because it has a step-by-step for me. So it has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step here that I can follow. So the next thing you're going to do is the benefit and compensation questions. Here at the Employers Network, we conducted a very comprehensive benefits survey that we published in November of 2020. Here, this is an abbreviated survey. There is only a few benefits questions here. And we have a save button at the end of each section. If you want to answer a few of these now and come back tomorrow and answer a few, just click the save button and it will save your answers. If you realize that there's something that you've inadvertently marked and didn't mean to, you can always go back and change that and click save. At the bottom of this is one of the most important parts of this section. This is where we are asking you some comp data. So we're asking you some comp data that is very specific here. So we're asking you what your budgeted salary increases were, what your actual increases were, and then we're asking you some questions about incentive pay. There's a question in the chat, do you have to answer these? We really need these answers to the compensation questions in this section. We would like for you to answer these benefit questions. It's not going to stop your survey from processing. However, we need this comp information at the end. That is extremely important that we have this. This is data that we have been collecting for many years. But this shouldn't take but just a few minutes. I've answered this 2 or 3 different times with 2 or 3 different scenarios. It only takes just a few minutes. And it is important that we have enough to participate so we can publish this. But we do need this comp data here. All righty, we can go again back to the welcome page, or you can do next step or match my jobs. And that's our next step. We're going to be matching our jobs. And again, if you've participated in the Mercer survey, this one is very similar in nature. So we're now going to click on match your jobs. And you have 2 different ways that you can do this. You can enter it manually, or you can upload jobs with an Excel spreadsheet. If you have just a handful of jobs, say you have 10 or less, entering it manually might be the best way. If you have a large number of jobs, then using an Excel spreadsheet is going to be the most efficient way for you. So once you click here, you can download this spreadsheet here. Now, to download it, we're going to click use this spreadsheet. Your browser may be set up to not allow downloads, so you may have to change a setting there. I have a Mac, so mine automatically goes into this download section at the top, and you can see there that it's downloaded the file. Once we download that, and I'm gonna go over and pull up what that download looks like. So I'm gonna share that. Bear with me here, I'll make it a little bit larger.
I was about to say, I like those large fonts.
So in tab 2, system job codes, if you click there, this is your job titles, your job codes, and your descriptions. And again, these are unchanged from 2020. This is the same identical ones that we used in our survey last year. So this is where you can match your jobs to our jobs in the system. So we'll come back to this side. This job code is your job code. It's your company's job code. If you don't have job codes, we encourage you to use ours. It just makes it easier for you to match that job back up. This job title is your job title. So for example, yesterday, we helped a participant, and I believe our job title was lab manager and theirs was lab supervisor, but the 2 job descriptions matched up almost perfectly. So they put their job title here and our system job title goes here. And I'm gonna have to, the Zoom bar here is in my way. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to enter for that job the established based hourly rate, the established midpoint base hourly rate, and the established maximum base hourly rate. You may be thinking, well, some of my jobs are paid annually. We realize that, and again, there's many other surveys that use this same methodology. All we ask you do is take that annual salary and divide it by 2080 and populate that number here for us. Now, Let's say, for example, that you have established minimums and maximums, but no established midpoints. That's okay. Put in the data that you have. Let's say you have established mins, midpoints, and maxes for your salary jobs, but not for your hourly jobs. That's okay. Put those in for your salary jobs. You don't have to put them in for your hourly jobs. So put in the data that you do have. I'm going to pull up, I'm going to change a share here, and I'm going to pull up a sheet that has data in it. So this is a sheet that we've been using for testing, and it already has the data in it. This is, if we tried to upload this spreadsheet right now, we're going to get an error message, and I'm going to try it so you can see what that error message looks like, because there's something in here that's going to trigger the system to stop this. So if you notice the organization, and we're playing around with R&R Metalworks, R&R Metalworks has the title machine operator, but in our title, it's multi-machine operator level 1. And in this case, the company did not, our fake company did not have job codes. So we use the job codes out of our system. So I'm going to attempt to upload this one, and I'm just going to make it's got some numbers at the top. I'm just going to make a note of it so I get the right one. I do want to mention that the name of the spreadsheet has to be match upload. It can have numbers after it, but it does have to say match upload. If you change the name and try to upload it, it's going to tell you that the name on the file does not match the expected file. All right, so let me move back to the share again. So we have this file ready to go. We're going to choose it. Let me find it in here. So we get an error message. And we get an error message. And again, I'm going to go back to this sheet so you can see this. We get an error message here. There's a duplicated job. We have maintenance. We have this maintenance job listed twice, but we've listed it under 2 different system job titles. So there are some checks and balances in our system to make sure that you aren't uploading duplicates or that you aren't uploading job titles that don't match. That's the most common error that I am seeing. Either there's duplicates or the job title here does not match the system job title, and it has to match it identically. If there's a comma, so there's a comma in this multi-machine operator, has to match it. We recommend copying and pasting those out of the system job codes. That way this issue does not happen. There's another check and balance that it's looking for. Let's say that you entered an hourly rate of $250. You're going to get an error message that there is a pay rate that is outside of the expected range. So if you get that, just take a look at what you've entered as far as dollar figures go. All right, I think we have a question in the chat. Let me get back to it. If there's only, so the question is, if there's only one pay rate for a role, do you want it entered as a min or not min and max? If you only have one pay rate for that job, leave them blank. Just put all zeros in here. In the next upload is where you will upload that information. But if you don't have established mins, midpoints, or maxes, just leave them blank or put in zeros. And I'll show you in the next one where you would enter that pay data for that job. All righty, let me get back to this share. So we're back to looking at the portal. Now we have already uploaded data for this for R&R Metalworks so we could take a look at it. So let me get back there. Let me get this screen up where I can see everything. I'm going to go back to the Match Your Jobs. If you want to see what data has been entered for your company, come back to Match Your Jobs, click on Enter Jobs Manually, and there is everything that has been entered. So we have uploaded some data for this company. Come back here, take a look at it, just make sure everything looks right. And let's say you're missing a job and you say, well, I left one off my spreadsheet. You can come right here, click Add a Job. You can find it. We're going to say Administrative Manager. And I'm going to make up a job code. And my job title is Admin Manager. Make up some numbers here. And all we have to do is click Update. Question is that last year's data? This is your payroll data as of 4/30/2021. So whatever your pay rates or data was on 4/30/2021, that's the data that we're asking that you use. That way we're getting the most accurate data for our survey. If salaries have been reduced to the pandemic, do we input current reduced salaries or pre-COVID wages? We want the wages that you were paying on 4/30/2021. So go ahead and enter those into the system, but the wages that you were paying on 4/30/2021. So let's say that we're looking at this and we realize that we've misspelled admin manager here. No problem. We can click Edit. And we can update it. Or let's say that we entered one by mistake. We entered admin manager by mistake. Just click delete and it's gone. Again, careful. It doesn't ask you, are you sure? So be careful with deleting. I'm going to go back to this spreadsheet again. Let me get it back open. So this is the match spreadsheet we just looked at. I want to talk a little bit about some features in Excel. Yes, there are a lot of system jobs that are listed here. There is a search feature at the top of Excel, so you can search for job titles here. This sheet is not protected, so you can come in and delete this line here. You have to delete it. And then you can filter this. So you can filter this. You can put these in alphabetical order. You can put them in numerical order. You can search for keywords. So there's lots of ways that this spreadsheet can become very user-friendly and make it very quick for you to find your matching job titles. But it is not protected as far as you being able to sort and filter these jobs to make it quick for you to find them. We just ask that on this front page, don't change anything in this sheet or it will not upload. Also, there's something that happens in Excel. It happens not only in our platform, but it happens other places. Let's say that I'm working down in a field way down my sheet and I put some stuff in it, then I delete it, and perhaps I change some formatting in it. Sometimes what we can't see is what I call Excel trash. That field has something in it. We can't see it. Sometimes you will get some Excel trash in a file that you can't see. So if you have trouble uploading a file, there's a couple things you can do. You can take from the end of your data down and hit delete to clean it up, or you can copy and paste this into a new spreadsheet called Match Upload, just your data. And those two actions have solved all of the problems that we have seen with that. If you get stuck and can't get it to upload, please feel free to either email your sheet to myself or Diane. We will take a look at it. We have been in this system so much, we can just about spot what's wrong very quickly, just because we've just been immersed in it for about 18 months now. So we'll be more than happy to take a look at it. We'll be more than happy to upload it for you if we need to, if there's an issue. We're here to help in that capacity. All right, I'm going to come back to the portal. Let me mention that I keep expecting me to come back to the portal and it tell me that it's logged me out. There is a very short timeout period. So if you've not moved around in the system for a few minutes, it will log you out. And that is a security feature to protect your comp data. So if you step away from your desk for a few minutes or if you have to take a phone call, you've not moved around in here, it will log you out, but it's a security feature in our site. So we have our jobs matched and everything uploaded. We've taken a look at it and everything looks good. So now we're going to upload our employee data. And again, you have a choice, upload it using a spreadsheet or enter it manually. It's your choice. And we did put this date at the top as a reminder, we want data as of 4:30. So there's some helpful hints for this particular spreadsheet. Column A is the number of employees. Column B is your job code. C and D are hourly versus annual base, and then E is scheduled hours. And I am going to pull that sheet up so we can take a look at it. Bigger here so we can see it. This is a very simple spreadsheet. This is your job code, the job code that you entered into your match sheet. It might be our job code that you used, but it's whatever you entered in as the job code. And then the number of employees. Now, the number of employees here is a little different than the way that the Employers Network has done surveys in the past. In the past, we've asked you for your total number of employees and your weighted average. This year, we are asking that you report the exact wage for each employee. And the reason for that is then we can calculate a true weighted average. In the past, we have taken your weighted averages and created the average from that. Yes, you can do that. A lot of surveys do it that way, but we want to be calculating a true weighted average. Now, you can download this information from your payroll system and just copy it and paste it here as long as the job codes match up. So I'm going to run through some examples in this sheet. So let's say that I have one employee and I'm just going to use job code 1, and I'm going to leave this in. Their annual base is $50,000 and they work 40 hours a week. So why are we asking how many hours they work a week? That's because we're calculating full-time equivalents. So if you have part-time employees, we are capturing their hours and turning that into full-time equivalents. So let's say I have another employee that is JC1. They have the same job. And they make $53,000 a year. Then I'm going to enter them here, and I'm going to put 40 hours in here too. If I have another employee in JC1, And let's say they make 52 and they also work 40 hours. This is how you're going to enter this. So let's say that in job code 4, I have 20 employees and all of them do make 20 hours, $20 an hour. I can enter that this way. The most common error that we are seeing from participants right now is they are entering both an hourly base rate and an annual base rate. And the system will reject your sheet if there is a number that appears in both columns. So that's the number one reason that we're seeing that a sheet will not upload right now. But this is, like I said, it's a very simple sheet. Just put all your jobs in it. You can download your data right out of your payroll system and populate it here. This one, the match upload is causing more errors than the data upload. Just making sure I didn't have any questions in the chat there. All right, I'm going to jump back over to the platform. So once we do that, we're going to choose our file and upload it just as we did in the previous screen. And anywhere you click enter employees manually, the data that you have already entered will come on the screen and you can edit it from there. You can add jobs, delete jobs, change the pay rates, change the number of hours right from this screen. So there's one here at the top that has a 0 in it, and I'm just going to delete it. And it's as simple as that. Once you have everything entered, you've taken a few minutes to look back through everything to make sure that it is correct, verify employee data, and then you can hit submit here. Now, when you hit submit, I'm going to get an email that says you have submitted your data and you are asking me to go in and look at it to see if there's anything I see that needs to be edited or if I have any questions. And once I have done that, I will confirm in the system that everything is correct and you will not have access to edit it. If there's something that you need to edit at that point, you can reach out to us and we can open that back up for you. This platform will close at midnight on June the 15th. So it will close for submissions then, but you are free to enter it and work on it as much as you like until then. I'm going to go back to the welcome page. The next one is step 5, which is survey demographics, and you will not be able to see that. This will be when the data is released, when the report is published. So if you participate in this survey, you will get a complimentary PDF copy of the data from your region. If you would like the ability to do your own analysis here in the platform, there is a subscription fee for that. And if you participate, that subscription fee is $750 and it is for 1 full year. If you don't participate, you can purchase access to the platform for $1,500. And again, that's for 1 year of access. We do have to pay for users that are on the platform to be able to do that. But the PDF report is complimentary. There is no additional charge for that if you participate. So you won't be able to see anything here until the survey is published and if you purchase a subscription. I want to go over a few other buttons here. Progress report, you can click on that. And you can see here that it's telling me, yeah, I updated my company information. I did my job matching. I did my data upload, but I didn't answer the benefit and comp questions. So we have placed links to the right-hand side to get you there very quickly through that shortcut. But you can see this progress at any time you like. We can also see this progress for every organization. There are some tips and tricks for first-time users here. And this incorporate my company data. This would just take you back to your profile page. It's just another way to get to the same place. Frequently asked questions are here. We have recently updated these. We also are placing copies of these recorded sessions and some other shorter videos on our website and on the Employers Network YouTube channel. So you can reach out and watch these. We're trying to break them up into some small sections so you don't have to watch this whole thing if you only want to look at one particular area. I want to go through a couple questions that were asked in some of the previous trainings. One question was asked is, what if my company has more than one location? So I have a location, and the question was, I have a location in both Greenville, South Carolina, and Anderson, South Carolina. How do I enter their data? Because they're in 2 different counties. Well, reach out to us and we will set up a second account for the other locations so that data is properly recorded in the right county. So just reach out to us if you have that situation, and we will set that up for you. The next question was surrounding the ability to do some analysis if you purchase the subscription to the website. Yes, you can build all kinds of ways to look at your data, how to compare your data. So there's a very powerful analysis tool. We will be doing some training on that tool a little closer to time for us to release our data. And we're preparing that now, but we will do some additional training then. But it's really user friendly for you to be able to go in there and pull out what you want out of the system. What questions do I have from anyone? I have covered an awful lot of information in 45 minutes. Is there
Rita, you saw the question from Mary Johnson?
Let me get to
chat.
Let me get my chat to come back up here where I can actually see it.
It's a good question.
What if we cannot match a job title description to the listing? There is an option for you to put in that there's no match. And you can report that data with no match. I have already seen one person that reported a no match job. We will use that data when we begin to build the 2022 site. We will use that data to say, are there jobs we need to add? Are there jobs we need to edit? Or are there jobs that are obsolete and we need to remove them? But we will be doing that for our 2022 survey. And yes, we already are working on the 2022 survey.
So I guess, Rita, we would say if there's not too much of a significant variance, to try and stay within the matching that we do have available, so that we can offer that data back out to all of the folks that have participated. So
that's a great point, because
right.
We will not be able to report that data to the public.
That's right.
Or to the participants, I guess I should say. We don't put anything out to the public,
right.
But we would not be able to publish that data in our final report to the participants. Yeah, see which one you can find. And we fully realize that it would be absolutely impossible for us to get job titles and job descriptions that matched 100% of the jobs out there. We know that at some point you're going to have a job and you're just going to say, I can't match it up anywhere. I am not reporting any wage data on it. And that's okay. So we may see that on our side that you reported you have 75 employees, but perhaps you only reported wage data on 74 or 73 because you had 2 that didn't match. We do see that often where there's just not a good match for those numbers to match up, and there's nothing that's going to stop your survey from processing if those numbers don't match. We had another question from the last training session that was, how many of my employees do I have to enter in order to be considered a participant? We're going to look at your total number of employees, and you have to have entered wage data on at least 50% of them in order to be considered a participant. Are there any other questions? Again, I feel like I've thrown an awful lot of information out in a short period of time. And guys, I just don't hesitate to reach out to one of us. We're in this system, gosh, lately between 6 and 8 hours a day. We're working in this system. If we see someone sends us a sheet and we see some type of error message, we are recreating it in the test side to see what we can add in training to make sure that doesn't happen to anyone else, because it can be frustrating when you get those error messages.
Yeah, and to your point, Rita, it is very simple to use once you just, you learn to move around and you know where everything is, because it's the screens that you have shown are really those that everyone will focus on, and it doesn't get any more complex than that. So.
Yep, and again, we can access this from, we have greater access in the portal to do some maneuvering of things if you get stuck somewhere. We did try to mirror this as closely as we could to some of the large national surveys, but we didn't want it quite as large or complicated as some of those can be. All righty, if there are no other questions, I'm just going to double check the chat to make sure there's no other questions. My contact information is up at the top of the chat, my direct information, as is Diane's. Please reach out to us if you have any issues or have any questions. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.
Everyone have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.